Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating educational framework called the Teachable Mathematician, Error Analysis and Spiritual Growth. We're going to see how this specific curriculum teaches that making a math mistake isn't some kind of punishment. Actually, it's a powerful opportunity to grow both smarter and wiser. It's a pretty unique approach. It takes standard algebra, specifically error analysis, and totally elevates it into a lesson on character.
We kick things off with a timeless truth drawn from Proverbs chapter 1, verse 5. Let the wise listen and add to their learning. The curriculum actually uses this to set up its core philosophy, which is that in algebra, and, well, in life, being teachable is infinitely more valuable than just being perfect from the get-go. The whole idea here is that recognizing an error, that's not a failure. It's the exact moment you get to add to your learning.
So, I want you to think about this for a second. Have you ever felt incredibly frustrated getting a math problem wrong? I mean, we've all been there, right? You're staring at that graded paper, feeling that sharp sting of a wrong answer circling in red ink. But what if I told you those errors are actually clues just waiting to be solved? The source material we're exploring today completely reframes this experience. It shifts the focus away from the frustration of being wrong right into the excitement of finding out exactly why.
Part 1. The Detective's Toolkit, Spotting Math Errors. Let's look at how this builds into practical application. The lesson asks us to reframe how we look at our work by becoming, essentially, math detectives, equipped to analyze our errors and find exactly where the numbers went rogue. The absolute crucial point here is to run through a quick mental checklist whenever you're reviewing a problem. Question 1. Does my slope make sense? Question 2. Did I actually plug the numbers in correctly? And question 3. Are my values reasonable? You see, by actively asking these questions, you're evaluating the reliability of your model. You're verifying your own logic to see if your answer actually aligns with the data.
Now look, if your final answer is way off from the data trend, the lesson's advice is super clear. Do not panic. Instead, just follow these steps to retrace your path. Step 1 is to simply double-check each individual step. Easy enough. If that doesn't work, step 2 is to literally walk backward from your final answer to see where you might have slipped up. And step 3 is a real game changer. Explain your thinking out loud to a peer. The curriculum stresses that the more you reflect and vocalize your process, the sharper your math instincts become.
Part 2. Crime Scene Analysis, Fixing Common Mistakes. Let's put those steps into action and step into 3 different mathematical crime scenes highlighted in the text to practice spotting the error and deploying the proper fix.
Okay, so in our first case, we have the backward slope. Here, the student accidentally wrote a negative slope, y equals negative 3x plus 10, instead of a positive one. We've all done it. But the fix is actually a super straightforward solution. You simply pick 2 real points on your graph and recalculate your rise over run. Doing this immediate check prevents a tiny little sign error from totally derailing your entire equation.
Moving on to our second case, the issue here is mislabeling the axes, like accidentally graphing time on the y-axis. According to the lesson, the best way to fix this is to always stop and ask yourself which variable is independent. You know, time moves forward no matter what, meaning it absolutely always belongs on the x-axis.
And that brings us to our third case, where a sneaky little negative sign went entirely missing. The student wrote down a slope of positive 2, but the actual slope was negative 2. Honestly, this is a very common slip-up, but it's easily caught by just double-checking the direction of your rise and run on the visual graph. Think about it. If the line is heading downwards from left to right, you immediately know that slope has to be a negative number. Simple as that.
Part 3. Your mission? Check your understanding. Because you now have the analytical tools to investigate on your own, the source material challenges students to put these brand new detective skills to the test with a homework assignment.
Let's look really closely at one of the questions from that assignment. The equation is y equals 10x plus 5. The question asks, is a prediction of $400 at week 2 reasonable? Well, let's think about that using your detective skills. If x represents weeks, week 2 means x equals 2. 10 times 2 is 20, plus 5 is 25. So does predicting $400 make any logical sense based on a slope of 10? Absolutely not. Catching that kind of unreasonableness is literally what error analysis is all about.
The curriculum then continues with these 4 prompts. Go ahead and pause this explainer for a second to look them over. As you can see, they challenge you to figure out slope discrepancies, explain the utility of graphs, and, this is a big one, describe a mistake you personally made and what you learned from it. The whole thing is designed so you can really practice justifying your reasoning clearly.
Part 4. The Godly Learner. Finally, as we wrap up, the creators of this curriculum really want us to zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
You see, the foundational philosophy of the HeroesmartAcademy Godly Learner series asserts that education without morality will hurt. The source material poses a pretty profound question. What is the point of being highly educated if we just keep making choices that cause harm? Their perspective is that true education must intertwine with biblical morality so that our knowledge brings healing, not hurt.
The curriculum supports this view by pointing to Romans chapter 8, verses 6 and 7, which it states promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. So, within this specific educational framework, taking accountability for a simple algebra error isn't just an excellent math habit, it's actually viewed as a spiritual habit. It's practice for taking accountability in life, which the authors believe ultimately brings a profound sense of peace to our minds.
So the next time you face a difficult problem or make a mistake, the curriculum leaves us with this powerful question. Will you choose to be a teachable mathematician? You don't have to shut down when you get the wrong answer. Instead, will you embrace the opportunity to reflect, correct yourself, and grow? It's a framework that asks us to see every single error as just another stepping stone on the path to true understanding.